Well, let's see. What should we? How should we start this one off? This is going to be a little bit different of a video. So I finished the pre-assembly, and I've got the block here, and I've done all of the rings. I've gapped the rings, and that was the last step of pre-assembly. And I'm basically done with pre-assembly, and it's time to start putting this thing together for the final assembly. And you can see over here, I've got a whole table full of parts. So when I tore the engine down for the ring gapping step, I went ahead and tried to lay out everything very as organized and as cleanly as I could. You know, and I've tried to gather up the parts. Like, for example, you know, I've got my oil pump. I've got, what do we got here? This is a 4-corner steam kit. I've got my head bolts. I've got my lifters. I've got my driver's side head. The other head is back here in the container. I've got my block. I've got my rings. Okay. But I still need a lot more parts, or I needed a lot more parts, right? I mean, everything on this table here, and everything on this table here, including the crank, and everything that you saw me assemble during pre-assembly, is basically just the, I guess they call it a short block, you know? I'm still missing a lot of pieces. So, over the course of the last few week or so, I have ordered a bunch of the remaining parts and accessories. And if you want to back up here, you could probably get a wider view of, just in the last 3 days, I have received a lot of boxes. So, so I thought what I would do on this episode is do something kind of fun before we start digging into the final assembly. I thought, heck, let's open up some of these packages and see what I got. So anyway, I thought it'd be kind of a fun thing to do. So I'm going to start with the smallest packages and work my way up, because I needed a lot of extra parts. So, you know, what do you think is in here in this little package? Well, let's go ahead and open this up, and we'll see what we've got. Any ideas, camera person, what you think we've got in here?
No idea.
No idea. Okay.
No idea.
All right. So what I've got in here, I've got this little what's this called? This is called an oil galley plug. Okay, an oil galley plug. This is a barbell oil galley plug, and it goes into basically the rear of the block. There's a little hole where this goes into. So that's what we've got right here. And I'm going to set this down right here, and that's my oil galley plug. All right, let's cut this open and make sure that we don't have any parts remaining or left over in here that I may have missed. Nope. All right, move it on. And another, looks like this came from Amazon. So we're just going to go ahead and tear the top of it off, and you can kind of hear it. There's some bolts. All right, so there's just one package. This is empty, and one package of bolts. And do you have any idea what these might go to? Well, I'm going to tell you. Any idea, camera person, what these bolts go to? No. All right, no guess. These bolts hold the oil pan onto the bottom of the block. So the oil pan mounts up under here, and I got new bolts for mounting the oil pan. All right, we're gonna set those. You enjoying the unboxing here? All right. So let's go. This is kind of heavy. Let's go to this box, because I'm really intrigued by this box. You feel how light? This is a huge box, but it's like so light. I mean, it's like, what the heck is in here? There's like hardly, look, there's like no weight to it whatsoever. So,
I hope they remember to send you something.
yeah. Yeah. What do you think they did? They sent me an empty box? I guess that's possible. Let me get my knife out here to open the box. All right, here we go. What is in this box that weighs next to nothing? Oh,
And paper.
feels like Christmas. This here, do you know what this is? Camera person.
No.
This is a brand new oil dipstick. No, it's not the dipstick. It's the dipstick tube. So the oil dipstick goes in here, and this mounts up to the side of the engine here. And that's, you pull the stick out to measure the oil. That's what this is.
Okay.
So I'm running out of places to put things. So I'm just going to set this down right here. Alright, well that was a big box for something that was so lightweight. Alright, now we're going to go to this guy right here. Another Amazon Prime delivery. What do we got here? Oh, okay. We've got an Evil Energy throttle body. So this guy, what happens here, let me make some space here. This is our new throttle body, and it looks like it comes with a ring, which is good. And this basically controls, this is the door that controls the airflow into the engine, okay? And this electronic module right here is connected by wire to the gas pedal. So when you step on the gas pedal, there's a wire that connects to this module, and that tells the throttle body how much to open, and that controls the speed. So anyway, now I'm going to admit here, this Evil Energy brand is sort of a little bit of like an off brand. It's a cheaper brand. You know, the genuine GM, AC, Delco, whatever GM performance parts would have cost me probably 3 times as much as this did. But I thought, you know, I looked at the GM performance parts, or the OEM, and I really couldn't tell the difference between this generic off brand and the GM OEM. So I figured maybe this is a way that I could save some money, because believe me, I've put a lot of money into this engine. So if there's a part here or there where I could maybe cut a little bit of a corner, I didn't see much difference in the throttle body. So anyway, that's the throttle body. All right, what do you think's in here? This is kind of not terribly heavy. Comes from another purchase from Amazon. There's basically 2 main places I've been getting my parts. I've been getting my parts either from Summit or from Amazon. I've gotten a few things from Rock Auto, and I have gotten one thing from carparts.com. Alright. And looks like what we've got here is a oil pan gasket. Okay, so remember, whenever you're changing or rebuilding an engine, all your gaskets have to be brand new. So I realized along the way that I did not have a new oil pan gasket. So here it is, my oil pan gasket. I'm going to set this right in here where all the other gaskets of mine are at. And I'm going to toss this box off to the side. All right, we've got 3 more to go. Any idea what might be in here? You know, I'm a little surprised at how little packing paper they put in here. Look how little packing paper they put in here. I mean, there's nothing here to protect it.
Is it heavy?
But this is an oil pickup tube.
Is it heavy?
And actually, to be honest, it looks, I don't know. Here's the oil pickup with the screen. It's a little sticky. I don't know what this sticky, it's very sticky. I don't know what's up with that. Huh. I'm a little disappointed at the lack of I guess, protection. It appears as though it arrived okay, other than this odd stickiness on it. But there's a little bend in there. I don't know. I'm going to compare this to the old one and see if there's anything that I should be concerned about. All right, so I'll have to look. This came from GM Service Parts. Oh, I did order this from a general GM dealership. There's a website where you can go to get, I forget the name of the website, but there's various GM, Chevy, GMC part suppliers which originate from like dealerships who are selling parts at discounted prices. So that's where this came from. So anyway, we will compare this to the old one and see if there's any reason for me to be concerned. So I'm gonna put this under here so I don't trip on it. All right, which one do you want to? You want to go with the big one, or the next to the biggest one?
Next to the biggest one.
Next to the biggest one.
Yeah.
All right. So we're opening the next to the biggest one here, and this is an easy one to open. This, from what I read on the tag, came from carparts.com, which actually offered the best price on, ready? An oil pan. An oil pan. So this is a new oil pan for my rebuild. And I want to tell you, I had a hard time finding the oil pan that was identical with this one thing that I've been looking for. I've been looking for an oil pan with this hole right here for the oil level sensor. That's what goes in this hole. It's a little sensor that goes in here, and then if the oil level drops, if you have an oil leak and the oil level drops in the pan, it senses the fact that you're low on oil, and it sends a signal to the computer, and bells and whistles go off. And on my Suburban, this sensor has come in handy several times. So I did not want to eliminate that from the setup. Now come on over here just for the heck of it, and you can see the difference between the old and the new. Okay, so clearly the old was just a mess. Okay, and I probably could have cleaned it up. I probably could have pressure washed this, but I was a little bit worried about the condition of the passages here for the oil filter. I was a little bit worried, and there's just so much corrosion. And here's that oil level sensor. This was a hard pan to find, but I found it at carparts.com. And how could you rebuild an engine without having a nice clean oil pan to go underneath it? All right, last but not least, we've got the big box here. Comes from Amazon. And man, look how this is packaged.
Wow.
Do you have any idea what might be in this box, even though I've opened it? All right, yeah, you probably, that's all right. But this is actually, it looks like some kind of protective, this is like a protective cover. So I'm really impressed at the extent and the efforts they went through to keep this protected. So if you want to bring the camera over here.
Oh, so that's not the actual thing.
This is just a protective device. I'm actually really impressed by what they did here. I am super impressed. That, my friend, is the intake manifold. So this is a brand new intake manifold that mounts onto the top of the engine. Okay, and this controls all the airflow through the engine. But I'll tell you, I am really impressed that they have this custom plastic containment here. That's really impressive. They went out of their way to make sure that this didn't get damaged. So I'm really impressed. But you know, one of the reasons why I wanted to get a new intake manifold is because on my Suburban, on the engine that's in there, there's all kinds of it looks like oatmeal that's caked up in the intake, in the air tube that leads into the throttle body, which then goes into the intake. And while it would have been fairly easy to take the old intake off and put it on the new engine, right? I mean, because really, what's going to go bad with an intake? Nothing's going to go bad with an intake. But I would never have been able to get all that gunky. It's almost, I think what it was I had an oil mixing with the water. So it was turning into like this soupy, white, oatmeal-like consistency that was clogging up all my tubes, intake tubes. And there was just no way I was going to clean that off and get that cleaned up. So the easiest thing was, look, I went ahead and I've put all the effort into getting good quality parts, Summit Racing parts, Pro LS pistons, Pro LS crank, Pro LS camshaft. Might as well throw a few extra dollars at a new intake. And I'm really impressed at what they did with from Amazon. So anyway, that wraps up my unboxing video. As you can see here, now I'm ready to start rebuilding this, and there's still a few other parts I need to get. I still need to get the coils. I need to get the ignition coils, the spark plugs, the wires. I need to get the what else do I need to get? I need to get a new fuel pump to put in the gas tank, because I need to have more pressure in the fuel lines to feed this beast. Speaking of fuel, I need the fuel injectors. So I need to get upgraded fuel injectors that pump more fuel into the chamber there. So I need, as you can see, I need still quite a few parts. I'm going to add a nice cold air intake to this as well, which will give it some help. And then finally, I'm going to wrap it up with a nice exhaust system. And I'm still trying to decide on whether or not I'm going to go with stock exhaust manifolds, but new, shorty headers, or long tube headers. Now, I once owned a truck a while back that had long tube headers, and man, those things got hot for just a street vehicle. I had to wrap them with insulation, but that truck had a lot of power. So I'm thinking about, if I can insulate them again. I'm leaning towards the long tube headers, but I'm curious what you think. I haven't designed yet or purchased anything yet for my exhaust. So if you have any thoughts about what you think I should use for my exhaust components, stock exhaust manifolds, shorty headers, or long tube headers, please leave me a comment down in the comments section below, because I'm curious what you think. You've pretty much watched this whole episode. You've seen all the parts I'm using. I'm increasing the power quite a bit, but I'm not done yet. So just curious what you think I should use in terms of the exhaust. So anyway, thanks for joining me for this unboxing event. Thank you to my camera person there for helping out with the camera. And my next video will begin rebuilding this. Okay? Thanks so much.